Hi, welcome. I've just installed an older version, 5.20.5.7 I think, to explain something to a user, a beta tester on Discord. And let's film it, since it's actually another update videos, and there is so much to learn in ArcoLinux and ArcoLinux. And updating is one of the things that's always essential, is 5.7. So any operating system out there, if it's Linux, Mac or Windows, updating is always important and critical. In our system, it's gonna be update, right? And you type in your password and let the thing do its work. So 1.1 gigabytes is going to be downloaded. So if you have problems with download speed or volume, ArcoLinux is not the way to go. It's a lot of gigabytes we pull in every month. So that's something to think about. But then, of course, we are always cutting edge. We get the latest packages and so on. So it's a choice, and it's your choice. What is update? Let's have a look. Alias update, because we do want you to go to ArcoLinux at some point in time in the learning curve. We want you to get so acquainted with ArcoLinux that you say, I'm gonna go with an ArcoLinux ISO, I'm gonna do it from scratch, right? But then you need this one, sudo pacman -syyu. Update is an alias, so it's something created to be faster, to have a word that sticks easier in our mind than sudo pacman -syyu, right? So update is what's going on up here. It's actually installing anything that's coming from ArcoLinux and anything that's coming from ArcoLinux, because ArcoLinux is like 90% ArcoLinux, 5% Arco and 5% AUR. And AUR is something specific. It's people who create packages for us. Fun stuff, really. And that's the AUR, Arch User Repository. Like themes, icons, but also applications. They want me to import something, so I press enter, which is yes, because it's a capital yes here, which means for the computer, I'm gonna take the first one, the capital one, with an enter. So Jan Alexander Steffens is really a name from the Netherlands, or from Belgium even, a Flemish name. One of my compatriots, maybe, who knows. Anyway, yes, updating can be done with this red thing here. So that's PAMAC AUR. You can click the button updates and apply and be done with it. That's the GUI way, the graphical user interface way. But I tend to go in here because I want to read what all the people are telling. And there's a lot of people making all these applications, and they give us messages like there's a new mirror list here coming up. So all these keys, people who make packages get a key, and they get new keys, but there are also old keys that are gone, disabling. There's information about the scal. So you know already, and we need to do something because there is a line that says etc scal. So packages from ArcoLinux have been written in etc scal and are not used at this point in time. They're not used unless you say, let's copy paste the new packages in from etc scal to, in this case, it's a configuration of i3, and i3 is a tiling window manager, and a configuration of OpenBox, right? A minimal desktop environment, and so on and so on. So basically, lots of information is in your etc scal, and other people here as well give you messages, developers, and we read through them. And at this point, we also read and know the packages, the names of the packages. And one of the most important packages is Linux and systemd. Both of them trigger for me a sudo reboot. I will reboot after a new kernel. And it cannot be that this, after so much time, there is a Linux kernel. There must be somewhere in here a Linux kernel. And you better do it up here, since it's more or less alphabetically. It's not 100% alphabetical, but we might find here the Linux kernel. You see? So, okay, the deal is sudo reboot, or in short SR. But before maybe reboot, so we've seen lots of things about the skel, alias skel, and that's the long line, but basically it just makes a copy of etc skel, and it makes a copy of config into another folder with a date and so on, and then it's going to copy paste over anything from etc skel to your home directory. So it's overwriting your settings, but there is a backup, right? Lots of tutorials about skel and how to preserve your settings. So skel it is, copy pasting everything over. It looks a little bit different, that's quite normal, and up all is maybe the last thing we do, but probably nothing there. Oh, there is the QStyle plugins. Well, actually, you can go. There is no need for you anymore. So we'll have a sudo pacman -r, and then qt style, or was it the name? Qt5 style plugins. That's one of the things that we don't need anymore. So if you can just remove something and nobody complains, Pacman says, well, no problem, just remove it, then there's no dependency. There's no application that's using that particular thing. So they've rearranged their Qt5 applications, and that one can go. And it's a goner in our next ISO. So now it's time to reboot, or SR, sudo reboot in the long version. Since we type it so many times, we thought let's make an alias for it, sudo reboot. And the point of the video is actually something new that we've created. The possibility to share a folder that's coming from my host computer, and this is my guest computer. So this is VirtualBox with the latest kernel up here. Of course, nothing to do. Everything is up to date. We scaled everything and we've rebooted. So I'm gonna go for a sudo shutdown now. That's the short version, and show you what I've done already in the system itself. So it doesn't matter if you're now on Linux, Windows or Mac. Install VirtualBox, go to the settings, shared folders. I have already created something. I have created in my system, let's show you. In my system, I have created a VBox shared folder. Just right mouse click, create new folder on any file manager. This happens to be Plasma. Doesn't really matter if it's Nemo, Nautilus, Caja or anything else. So VBox shared. The name is here. The setting, let's delete the setting again. Plus, look for the folder that you want to use as share. This guy. So anything I'm gonna put in here, I'll see it in the VirtualBox, and vice versa. Anything I put inside the VBox shared in the VirtualBox will show me on my Plasma, right? So host and guest, you can transfer files. While I was talking, I don't know if I set everything correctly. Check again. So auto mount, correct, read only, keep off, so we can type, so we can send, transfer stuff over. Well, actually I don't need the ISO anymore, so that's then we see immediately the boot, the grub. So this video is all about a new idea, new script that we have to be able to share stuff from one system to the other, one operating system being the host and this one being the guest. Now there are some things you need to know, and two things you need to know. There's actually type VirtualBox mount, so another alias, and this is my name, adding user Eric to group VBox SF, which is going to create a link as well, VBox service link. And you can log out now, log back in. So it says what to do. Step 2 is log out, log in, but it depends on desktop, it seems. So A sudo reboot would be nice as well. So either reboot or log out. We'll see what we need here. Super Shift Enter. And there we have it. Right mouse click, create folder, test. Where is this? It seems to be on my machine. I go to my Plasma and I've closed it already. So I'll go back to Plasma, go to this VBox shared. Here's my test. So I can transfer stuff from my VirtualBox to my system, Plasma. Another way around, let's do a text file this time. Doesn't matter what name it is. Up here, what you need to do, refresh F5. Okay, there you go. So you can transfer stuff over from one place to the other, from the guest to the host, from the host to the guest, right? And just by setting some things correctly, remembering two things, an alias, VBM, alias, VBM, which means VirtualBox mount, which means run that thing, right? And everything is set right. Remember to reboot afterwards. And of course the settings in VirtualBox, but that goes without saying. And then you have this transfer mechanism between a host system and a guest system. All right, have fun.